Hello and welcome, I'm Arlo, I'm from Keep Scotland Beautiful, and we've got a short video today that's going to be telling you all about our upcoming Litter Less video competition. It's a really exciting opportunity where you can create a proposal that will help single-use plastic issues in your area, whether that be your school, your community, or whatever way you wish to do it. So as I said, we're wanting you to come up with a proposal on how you can tackle single-use plastics in your area. And this project is a video project, as we said, so we want you to make a video all about it and pitch us the proposal. So this is an example of people doing some videoing and interviewing of a pupil about their opinion and how their schools may be currently using, for example, single-use plastic bottles. Are they recycling them? Are they just going in the bin? Do people have access to reusable bottles? I want you to make it fun, creative and pupil-led. The pupils should really have their voice heard in this project and be leading the way for change. It's really exciting because this is a cash prize to be won, and we're going to touch on what the prizes are later, but part of it is we want you to tell us how you would use the money that you win to help your proposal be successful, and you can then utilise the money to actually put your plan into action. So, we know we're going to be pitching a proposal, and there's a couple of aims that we want you to consider and put into action. As I said, we want you to investigate single-use plastics. So, go and figure out where the issue is and work out what is the problem and where it's maybe occurring from. Once you've done this, we also would like you to reflect on how the single-use plastic is impacting people or animals, and look at it on personal, community and global levels, meaning maybe this plastic bottle is affecting you right now because it's dirty, but then if it's littered it may travel great distances. We also want you to understand the links between plastics and child rights. There's really strong links between the two, and it can have both positive and negative impacts on a child's rights. Of course, we want you to create a really great proposal on how you're going to tackle the issue and really sell us on why your project should be the one that we choose to win and how it's going to make a real difference. Again, budgeting successfully with the money that you could win is a really important part, because we want to know how you're going to spend it and show that you can stick to that budget. And as I've already mentioned, pupil-led project. We want pupils to be leading the way on this. So you keep hearing me mention this single-use plastic. I'd really like you to take a second now to pause me and have a discussion about examples of single-use plastic that maybe you use every day, or maybe what you can see in your environment right now, and what you feel about plastic. What's your opinion on it? Okay, so hopefully you've had a nice discussion and understand what single-use plastics are. Examples you can see in this picture is a plastic bag that maybe only got used for one time and has now ended up in the ocean, where things can get hurt and by it, which comes into our next question about what the problem is. So if we're thinking about what the problem is, single plastic does have uses that are really important for people. However, there's a great problem with them, because even though single plastics are great because they're durable and they are really easily produced, but we have a bit of a problem of a throwaway culture of using materials only once. So what's the problem with having a culture about using materials only once? Why is this kind of thing becoming a problem? Again, pause me please and have a good chat about it. Maybe write some notes about what you feel about what a problem is with single-use plastic. So we know single-use plastic can be a problem, but we also would hopefully understand that although it does affect us on a personal, local and community level, it is a global plastic problem. It's not just one person, it's everyone, which also is good because it means that we can all change our habits, which will all make a difference. So the best way to help the problem is to follow the 5 R's. refuse, reduce, reuse, repurpose and recycle. There's always a lot of focusing on recycling, which is good, but refusing and reducing is the best way. Refusing can be a bit challenging because you have to change your habits, but it's the best way to minimise waste being produced. If you do have to use something, maybe you can look at ways where it's a more sustainable option, where it maybe has to be used for a few months and then replaced, rather than once and then thrown away. So there's lots of ways you can explore this, and hopefully during your investigations and writing up of your proposal, these are the two aspects that will come strongly into your proposal. On this slide, we're going to investigate what the United Nations Children's Rights Charter is. And some of you, I'm sure, have heard of this from school. Many schools teach these rights, and children should know it all around the world, because it is what has been fundamentally set out as your right to have access to. And this is basically a huge document that sets out 54 rights, or as they're referred to as articles, and they're kind of like a big heading is each article. So within that, there'll be a description of what that right means, and the article sets out what it means you're entitled to. And there's going to be some of these 54 that you'll never have to consider as a right for yourself, because you won't interact with every single article, or if you do interact them, it's very unlikely that they would be everything all at once. There are ones which we would consider universal, that everyone will experience, and there's 4 main ones. The first one is what we would call Article 2, no discrimination. No one has any reason to ever be discriminated against, and it is a right that you should feel safe in your environment and not be discriminated against. Another one is that your views as a child should be listened to, respected and considered and not dismissed. So this is important to ensure that you have a say in what your life is and how things are happening. You can't always get your point of view in a solution, but you can always have it respected and heard. The best interest of the child means that at all times adults really should put it first that we need to do what's best for this child. An example of this might be that your child wants to eat ice cream for every single meal. Now, in the best interest of the child, it is not great to allow that to happen because it's not very healthy. However, it's obviously fine as a treat. Life, survival and development. We all are living and we all want to have that right of survival, and we all do, thanks to the United Nations. And everyone has the right to develop and progress in their life, and it's really important to ensuring that everyone can become the best person they want to be and can be. And we should be very grateful for having all these fantastic rights set out. We've now learned about the United Nations Children's Rights Charter and started our journey on understanding your rights. What I'd like to now do is look how single-use plastic that we produce or places around the world produce can impact the rights of children here and abroad, so all over the world. The first one we're going to be looking at is of 2 girls working in Bangladesh sorting plastic. What I'd like you to do just now is to pause me, have a discussion about what you notice, think about what brands you're seeing, what are the girls doing, what do you feel when you look at it, and anything else that you might notice. Hopefully now you've had a nice discussion and are noticing lots of different things, and maybe you notice that there's brands that you'll see on a daily basis. So we can see Sprite, 7-Up, Fanta, Coca-Cola. These are companies that have lots and lots of plastic that's being produced, but where does it actually go after we use it? And what I'd also point out is that these children are working in water and barefoot, and what we'd say is this could link to our Article 24, so it's your right to have a healthy, safe environment that's got water and food. So this is clearly not a safe environment, and it's not healthy for them because it's dirty and they could get infections, and it's also just unclean. The other thing is, these are children. This is a harmful place, you would say, to work in, and it's quite dangerous. There could be injuries and, as I said, infections, and they're barefoot. So it's a very harmful work environment. And also, if they're working, why aren't they in school? So are they therefore not having access to education? Feel free to pause me again and talk about how you feel these would link to this picture in other ways, and if you like, consider what other rights might be affected by having these children work in facilities like this. Now we've investigated a global issue that considers the impacts of single-use plastic on children around the world. We're now going to go closer to home. I want you to imagine that this is your school playing fields, and this playing field unfortunately is covered in litter and has a lot of single-use plastic, but we can see someone is trying to clear it up. I'd like you to pause me and think about how this would make you feel if it was your school playing fields. Would you feel welcome? Would you feel safe? Would you feel like you would be comfortable there? Pause me and have a good chat about it, or just have a think. Now you've had a chance to discuss this issue, I'm going to introduce you to the child's right to play. So children all around the world have the right to play, but actually what sometimes will happen if an environment becomes polluted like this, children will lose spaces and therefore it affects their right to play. This is a school playing field and you should be able to go on and play football, play tag, run around, or just laze about, because you also have the right to rest. It's really important that we also conserve our natural areas, because natural heritage and culture is really important. So this person's doing a great job cleaning up the mess, and if you do have problems with your school fields, maybe you can think, oh, I can pick that up and make it better for everyone. So we're going to now look at plastics links to child rights in a closer up example, and in this example it is plastic medical equipment. So this is looking at equipment that would help be used in a hospital, at home, maybe for your pills, or for if you had to have an injection, it would be used in your injection. I'm sure someone's had their bloods done and they use them, and it's really, really practical and very easy to use. However, as we see, it is plastic, so I'd like you to consider what the benefits and a positive impact on the child's rights could be to maybe a children with disabilities, and what might be some negative impacts and how it might affect health, water, food and the environment. I'd love you to pause me just now, take a few minutes, however long you need, and discuss about how there could be positive impacts to children having access to plastic medical equipment, and what might some of the negative impacts be when having a lot of plastic in medical equipment. Hopefully you've now had a nice chat with everyone and have got some really good answers. I did this workshop with some children at Hillhead Primary, and these are some of the answers that they gave me, so thank you very much. And hopefully you've got maybe a few in common, but there's lots and lots of answers, so don't worry if your answer hasn't appeared. Some of the positive impacts from having access to plastic medical equipment is children with disabilities can have sanitary equipment. It's durable, meaning that it can be used multiple times. Not everything in it will be single use. It will hold medication safely, so it can keep people's medications sorted. Children can have support for their health, so that people might need feeding tubes, blood testing, and there's lots and lots of other tests that can be done thanks to plastic. The alternative would have to be something like glass, which would need to be sterilised and is often also really heavy. So compared to plastic, it's just a lot more inconvenient to use and is not as sanitary in a lot of ways. So our negative impacts, we're considering health, water, food and the environment. So the answers they gave were that it can only be used once, a lot of it, and it lasts a really long time. It often needs to be incinerated because it's a biohazard, and when you burn stuff it gets a lot of smoke producing and it is damaging to the environment. So tell us about your proposal. We really want you to create a proposal that is tailored to you and your area and your problem. So tell us about your issue with the single-use plastics. What is your plan to help with the problem? Again, pupil-led, pupil thoughts and actions should be reflected in the proposal. And thinking about how does it impact you globally and the community. Whether this be positive or negative, we want to hear both. And how will you spend the money? We want to know how our money can help your school be a better and more sustainable place. It's really important, remember, to stay within budget, and we will cover that in the next few slides. Okay, so on this one we're going to be covering some top tips on how to make sure that you create a great proposal video. We want you to make sure that this is a fun video, and that's why we ask that you make it chatty and authentic. We want you to feel comfortable and present your proposal in an honest and authentic way. Make sure as well that you video everything in landscape. Ensure good sound quality and that you don't exceed 3 minutes. Okay, really exciting part now, prizes. So your hard work can win your school the funds to put your proposal into action. You'll be able to see what you want to do happen and see the improvement that it can make within your area. So the prizes have a few different stages, and our runners-up will receive £100 to contribute towards their proposal. Second place gets £200, and our winner gets £300 to fully fund their proposal, and we always want to hear back from you on how successful it was as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the entries that you produce, and hopefully we get some very exciting ones to see. After you've made your lovely video pitching us your proposal, we would like to get all your evidence together and send it to us at Keep Scotland Beautiful. And the deadline for this is Friday the 9th of May 2025. We're really excited for your entries and good luck with them. Thank you to everyone for all the lovely photos that have been provided for this presentation, and thank you everyone for listening and joining us today, and we look forward to seeing your lovely submissions. All the best and good luck.